Ja ću pa malo nekam.
Ma tu negdje.
Ja imam ovaj što sam ti Ranko dao, pa ću da. Ha, nema neke gužve, boga. Ja sam mislim da će biti više bah.
Ćemo tu onda prostriti.
Možda i ne treba, možda i ne treba prostriti.
Da.
Vidi, jako se popuni, onda ću
Da.
otvarati. Ne vidim
Tako
razlog.
da.
Zašto bi sad otvarao ovo, a...
Aha, pa daj meni, ja ću otvoriti.
Ne, pa možeš, evo.
Ja ću sjesti.
Ne možeš tu, zato što ima toliko mjesta, ne vidim još potrebe.
Krishna Krishna Bhutale
Namaste.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Ima mjesta.
Swami Niti Namine Namo
Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale,
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Swami Namine.
Namaste
Čarodnog šešira.
Gauravan Prakarune Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhakkatya Vishatayune Namaste
Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Bhajarine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Bhaskatya Vishatarine.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Advaita Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Uvijek meni dođeš pa briši.
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Njime još potišao.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Wow, what a nice place to have a kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Samo moraš glasnije. Somehow I'm not convinced with this chair, so it's better to...
Did I know you in Simachala? Did I see you in Simachala?
No, you did not find it. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So many beautiful devotees in Europe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasaya Vitale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachari, Nirvishesha Sundavani Pachari. So I'm really grateful to be here. I have no idea why you'd want to hear anything from me. I'm just a little old lady, but I did have one good thing happen to me in life, and that was I got to be around Srila Prabhupada. It was worth it to take birth in America. I can't say that it was easy, but it was worth it. So, you have a beautiful country here. Europe is so beautiful. It's so special. And so many beautiful devotees. And I don't know what to say very nicely, how wonderful it is that you're all still chanting Hare Krishna, and so many years have passed, so many ups and downs and bumps in the road, and probably disappointments for a lot of you with a lot of the things that have taken place, and some of you are probably just bright-eyed and brand new, and so the chanting is giving your heart the joy that you've been wanting all your life. So maybe you can ask questions, and then I can get an idea better what
Taking cards.
Kakvi su problemi?
Kirtans, if you want, I can take it.
That's okay. Samo
Maybe if you ask questions, I get an idea better what to say so that I can wake my brain up and ask questions.
samo gas.
Ja, pa ne moraju. Ja? Ja.
Okay.
I need my hearing aids. I'm an old lady and I can't hear.
Mataji koristi slušni aparat, tako da dok ga ne stavi strpljenja koju sekundu.
Manjari, why don't you show them the book? We only have one left. We had a disaster happen in Germany.
And that one is sold out already. And that one is already sold out.
Well, we can't sell the only one we have. But we have 4 boxes coming and they're lost. DPD delivered them to the wrong address. Why don't you show the book to everyone? Show them the other book too.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, I have it. So this one we have, and this one we take orders. You can come and buy it, tell your name, and then when we get books, she will sign and you will get it. Right?
I take one, pick one.
Yeah, maybe after? Yeah. She can also sign then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely.
This one is 20
Mataji, perhaps
euros
you
and
can
this one is
start
12
with
euros.
how
the
did
small
you
one.
met Srila Prabhupada and all this.
Wait, let me put my hearing aids on. I can't hear you.
Čekaj, polako. Svi, stop.
Now I can hear you.
Dajte najprije da završimo ovdje. Evo, Četanja, ajde najprije da riješimo jedno, pa ćemo onda drugo, ali može tako. Ajmo jedan bratski dogovor, mila majko.
What language is that?
That was Croatian.
Oh,
That was angry Croatian. Perhaps you could start by your.
I only know English. Americans are very stupid. We only know English. Manjari speaks at least 3 languages. And she's 1/3 my age.
So you can start by meeting Srila Prabhupada with your husband and those early days, and you are
Give me the book.
you are the famous for being present when Srila Prabhupada became Srila Prabhupada and so on.
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah.
And we will now we will give you the mic, and if we will have some questions, there's no need for you to give the mic around.
Okay.
Izvolite.
Hare Krishna. I'm a very old antique disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I like antiques. I hope you like antiques. I'm 78 years old and probably won't be here too much longer. So I've written a book about my memoirs of Srila Prabhupada. And I have another book. The second one is coming. It's in editing right now. This one is the first one, which describes how I met Srila Prabhupada in San Francisco in 1967, and along with my husband Gorsinder, who passed away last year, and who the night before he died, I spoke with him on the phone, and he said that he's seeing Srila Prabhupada standing in an ornate doorway. So don't think that Srila Prabhupada won't be there at the time that you leave this world. He will be. Anyone who chants Hare Krishna and reads his books, anyone, I don't care how many gurus you have, how many teachers you have, how many bishops you have, Srila Prabhupada is connected to your heart. He's connected to everyone by his teachings. He came from the spiritual world to teach. And it's a lousy analogy, but it's just like in the Christian church. You've got lots of bishops and lots of priests and lots of gurus and lots of teachers, but you've only got one Jesus. And I'm saying that Prabhupada's Jesus. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that he's the head, the founder Acharya. Founder Acharya has a very deep meaning in India, which I never understood until in the last couple of years. Why on every plaque, on every book, on every document, he always had His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So what that essentially means is, and this is according to an Indian Sanskrit Shastraji, I'm not a scholar, that it means that he's like the head of the Sampradaya, like Nimbarka or Ramanuja, or one of the Madhva, the head of the Sampradaya. And essentially he is. He came, he left India, he taught in ways that no one else had taught. He studied the Western culture by studying Westerners a little bit, and he chose ways to spread the holy names all over the world. He didn't come to teach an Indian religion. He came to teach the holy names, because in this age of Kali, it's the only thing that's going to work. Everybody's going to be fighting about everything, and pretty soon they'll be fighting with bombs and rifles and all that. And the only thing that will transcend all of the quarrel is the holy names, because the holy names keep going continuously around the world. Whenever you chant Hare Krishna, if I sit here and chant chair or dress or symbols, it's not going to go very far. People get tired of it fast. But if you say the mantra, it has special power that it never stops. It keeps going around the globe. And practically we've seen how people have changed in the society. One of my friends pointed out that in Germany, because he was a very early disciple in Germany, people were really, really nasty on the street. They spent half of their time in police stations. They go to one place, 4 hours in a police station, another place, 4 hours in a police station. And he hadn't been around in Germany for any programs in many years, and went to the Rath Yatra in Leipzig last year. And he commented that it's surprising. The people are not as angry. They walk by, they may say something nasty, or they may just look, but they're nothing like they used to be. So for the first time I realized that Harinam is the most important. He said it was the most important. He said, first Harinam, street Sankirtan, then japa, deity worship, and everything else. And I never really understood why. And now I kind of understood why. Because what happens is it melts down the sinfulness of the culture. Even though the people don't become devotees, they're hearing. Unwillingly, they're hearing. And just that seems to slowly change the culture. And of course, some of them do become devotees. I think I need a little water, Marjorie. I have a bottle. Oh, I didn't know it was there. And this is some of your good water from your mountain. Probably better not to get water in this stuff. So, it's a very simple message. It's become awfully complicated. People have really complicated it a lot. But, thank you. People have really complicated it a lot, but it's a really simple message Prabhupada had. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. That was his main message. Because by chanting Hare Krishna, we're burning down all of the karmas that we have got from lifetimes. And slowly we become happy. I mean, we have our ups and downs. We all have our ups and downs. Some days we're sick, some days we feel good. But on the whole, we're slowly Are you older devotees? Have you? No, this lovely lady with the silver white hair and the pink outfit on. Are you older devotees? Oh, she doesn't speak my language.
So.
They're newer devotees. As a devotees, they're not so old.
Huh?
As a devotees, they're not so old. As the devotees,
Not so old.
They're
not so long.
From 2000.
translator.
From 2011.
They're joining like 2011.
Oh,
So it's mainly by age.
that's old. That's an older devotee, yeah. So we met Srila Prabhupada in Sanford. But did she understand? Do I need a translator?
No, they have.
They have.
They already have one.
Oh,
It's covered. Don't.
I see. She's hiding back. I didn't see her. She's translating.
Yeah.
Okay, how nice. So most everybody speak English?
Yeah.
Well, the British did something good for the world. Anyway, Prabhupada actually did say that they also built the railways in India. But I'm not sure if Yamaraj is going to decide whether or not that offsets. That's not my department. Good thing. So, Srila Prabhupada, I met him in San Francisco, and I was a senior in college, along with my husband-to-be, Gary, who became Gorslandar. And we went to San Francisco. We didn't even know where we were going to go, but we were searching for truth, it was a very troubled time in America. Maybe not as troubled as it is now, but it was pretty bad. And there was a Vietnam War was going on, and there was a lot of draft dodgers. They're burning the draft, same kind of thing is going on now. We had one guy burn himself alive protesting, crazy people. And so we were searching for truth, and it's funny how it all happened, because there were no books. It's hard to explain to devotees. There were no books. There was no internet. There was there was TV. Who are you?
Bhakta Das.
There was no dogs also.
They call him Bhakta Das.
Bhakta Das.
Bhaktadas?
Given by Mahatma Prabhu.
Does he belong to one of you?
Yeah.
Who? So he's polite. He's very polite. He's also shy.
He's
I hurt
old.
his feelings. I didn't mean to.
He's very old.
He's very old.
He's very old. He's also very, very polite. I know. I mean, he must have been a devotee. Believe me, I worry about it myself. I mean, it's not impossible. Look at the story of Jagbarat. We had a lady, it was Mukunda's wife, she had a cat. And they loved that cat. She loved that cat. The cat had a weird name. Shmur or Schmitchell or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It's so weird. And it died. And Janaki was crying. And Prabhupada said, he was Swamiji at that time, says, that's good. And I was a little shocked when the cat died. It's good. He says, yeah, because it's good for the animal, because he gets to be around devotee. But it's not so good for the person, because if the animal is living old and the person is loving him and thinking about him at the time of death, there's a danger. So when this one dies, you don't have to get another one.
No.
I actually know of a case where somebody, and I'm a bird person. I love birds. I've had pet parrots. And I actually know of a case where there was a devotee who was so attached to his parrots. His parrots are like children, you know? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. 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 Hare Hare.
Soothing words.
Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Anyway, the parrot, the parrot, he was so attached to it, and then his someone told him, you know, this is really risky. You have so much attachment to this parrot. So he gave the parrot away to a pet shop, but then he got a job at the pet shop. And he was very attached. He actually he died, and he became a small bird. And one of my friend's daughters, one of my god sister's daughters, had that bird as a pet. And it was an unusual bird. I mean, it just flew free and everything. And then it would sit on her pillow at night, and a little girl, and then it died. It got squashed. And they had a dream. The mother had a dream, and the child had a dream, where the parrot was thanking them. That, thank you. Because they kept Kirtan going all the time in their house, bhajans going all the time. I said, thank you for helping me. I needed that. You know, so it's not impossible. That's why I actually love parrots, but I don't have any parrots. I did have at one time. But you know, Vrinda Devi has 5,000 parrots in Vrindavan. And you've seen pictures of Vrinda Devi with a yellow parrot on her hand? You see? Because that's the internet service in Vrindavan. That's how they keep everybody, you know, everyone informed of where things are going to be taking place, what flowers will bloom. I don't want you to touch me. Okay? You can sit nearby, but I don't want you sticking your nose on there. Okay? Anyway, that's
We have to go, sorry.
Oh, you have to leave?
Yes.
Why? You just got here.
We have been here some time, so we have some other attendances. So.
They're recording.
Yeah.
Huh?
Recording is here.
Recording. We are recording.
So second best. Sorry.
Sutra
You
smo
have
na
a
Krku
program you
to.
have to go to.
Sutra je sanga na Krku.
Oh, I'm sorry. we're so late.
No, I'm happy to meet you in person. So.
Well, I think we're going to be here for a couple of days, aren't we? I don't know where.
Just tomorrow only. Island Kirk. Kirtana's home.
Are you there? Will you be there?
Possibly.
Where are you from?
Here, from Rijeka.
From Rijeka?
Yes.
And you also?
Yeah.
You're initiated devotees?
No.
Or yeah.
Newer devotees, so to say.
I'm sorry that we're so late.
No.
Please come tomorrow.
Okay.
And I hope that we'll have some books soon.
Yeah.
We will have books in about a week. We've got them ordered from London. Unfortunately, we're missing 4 boxes. So
They will arrive in time.
yeah, but we'll be here for a week, won't we? We'll be here
In Rijeka?
in this area. We'll be
Yeah, around a week, yes. Yes.
Yeah. You want to look at this for a moment?
We asked him to order book for us later, so
Okay.
we are certain buyers. So
Thank you very much.
thank
for
you very
coming.
much for coming.
I'm sorry we were so late, but thank you
No
very much
problem.
for coming.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ranko, ajde se možeš...
Does anyone have any questions about what I should speak about? And so I will. Do you have some question?
Well,
Come
Yes.
more.
yes. Today, I listened to Shiva Prabhupada class,
Good.
and the title is May I Take Shelter at Your Feet. And Shiva Prabhupada in class mentioned you and said, this is the cat of Govinda Dasi.
Oh my gosh, that lecture, I remember that lecture.
It's amazing. It's 3 hours before we are meeting you here. YouTube give me that class.
Okay. Well, what happened was we went to Hawaii because Prabhupada sent us to Hawaii. And before he came, we were walked to the store nearby, and there was a tiny kitten on the side of the road. And I did not want a cat, but we told some children, oh, this little kitten's going to get squashed, so please take this little kitten, you know. And then we walked to the store, and then we came back, and then we came back home, and the kitten was still there, but we thought some children were going to take it. But then when I got home, I discovered that my beads had fallen out of my bead bag. So I immediately rushed back to find them on the way, and there they were, right by the kitten. And so I picked them up, and then we decided, well, these kids are not going to take this kitten, so we'll take it home and find a home for it. So we had this kitten that was the most annoying kitten. It was always crying. We put it in a part of the house where a porch. I think it's raining. Don't we have an umbrella?
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh, okay. So but everybody else does it. Why don't we get under more of the trees?
There's this covering there.
We can move over there. There's a roof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, roof and the seats and the
Sounds
benches.
good.
Yeah.
Mind you?
Yeah.
Dragi Baktija, može preparkiranac ispod krova?
Znaš šta, mislim da bi bilo najbolje za njih da izvadite ova kolica njezina.
Kaže Manđari da ne voli u kolicima sjediti.
Ne voli, ovo je lakše.
Ništa se ne sekiraj, nema
Don't
nikakve.
let somebody's cell phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the roof. Great. But not much food.
Mataji, what do you think to sit here and you can lay your bag?
What about this? Is other people?
No, it's prasad for later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And now we will hear you better because it's smaller space. So this is perfect.
You can put your battery, if you move a little bit right, you can put your battery. If you move it to the right, then you put your back.
Yeah, it's more over here. Yeah.
So this is a picnic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. In your honor.
Not in my honor.
Okay. We'll hear about that. Dobar dan. Kirtana je radi ovaj.
So long story short, we were stuck with this little kid. And I really didn't want it. But that little kitten was something special about it because he would step on it every day.
It was the kind of cat that kept getting underneath the feet. You know that kind? He would step on it every day, and we were looking for a home for it. And then what happened was, the day that he left, the very day that he left, we found some hippies that said they will take him home, and we got rid of him. Then we found out later he died that night. Yeah. And similarly, since we're on the subject of cats and dogs today, there was a big German Shepherd dog that used to, usually in India, Prabhupada would use a stick and drive them away, you know. But in Hawaii there was this,
Tako da je neko kaže da dođe preko. Satjak je probao, trebaš
big German Shepherd. It was a very expensive type of dog, you know, big. And it was, Prabhupada take a walk every day in a place called Swansea Beach Park. at Swansea Beach Park was like a big, flat, looked like a football field, and you know, grass and by the ocean, and this dog would run at lightning full speed and jump against him and rub his whole body on one side, and then he would keep running, turn around, and jump and rub his whole body on the other side. And it really kind of freaked me out a little bit, but he didn't complain. He didn't say, no, don't do it. In fact, it was happening every day. In fact, it's sometimes the dog would run, and he would run between his feet while he was walking. It was very strange. We never saw this before. It never happened before. And then that also, after the day Prabhupada left, that dog vanished. And there were signs up, because it was a rich people dog, rich lady's dog. And that had a house right next door. It vanished. She had reward signs up. Oh, I went to her house. She was very brokenhearted, you know. Then, so that happened in 1969. For 50 years later, well, no, not quite, but I can't add or subtract. But anyway, it was about 5 years ago. We had some serious problems with the financial situation in our Hawaii temple. We had a very lovely temple president stealing money. And we needed to have some help. We needed a forensic accountant to do something about this. So we went and we hired this forensic accountant. And then we found out that was his dog. 40 years before, that was his dog. And he actually helped us. He almost put the guy in jail. And he helped us, and he didn't charge us anything. And he used to say that I'm Srila Prabhupada's only atheist disciple. Because he wasn't a devotee. The guy wasn't a devotee. He was a very famous detective, though, a forensic detective. So sometimes animals do come and they do get benefited, but we also have to be a little careful because we can also, end up as an animal. I mean, not that we're much humans now, but we're sort of humans. We've got human body, and human body is so important for Krishna consciousness. So tell me what you want to know about.
What's your favorite memory about Srila Prabhupada, and what's the quality that stick with you the most?
That's like asking you, a giant marshmallow, and you saying, okay, I like this part right here. It's so many memories. And I was with him for 10 years. 2 years continuously, but over 10 years' time, we had many, many associations. I think my favorite quality was his compassion and his the mystical qualities that he exhibited that a lot of people have somehow forgotten about, or maybe they're not aware of, that he was from another world, completely from another place. And that's really important that we understand that. But his compassion, his caring, the way that he dealt with people, the way that he dealt with us. In fact, I think this is one of the most important things that we can do, and which you're very enlightened about this, because a lot of people don't know this, that you want to know about Srila Prabhupada, so you want to hear from his early disciples who were actually around him. And that is what's missing. I already came to that conclusion. It's what's missing, because although we have the books, we have a problem of knowing how he dealt with others, like how he dealt with his disciples, his kindness, his gentleness, how he dealt with his daughters, his many female disciples, is completely lost. and there's hardly anything written about it. Although there is one book, which she has handy right here, called, I didn't write this, this is A Bond of Love, and it should be, I think it should be required reading. Put the Lilamrita aside and read how Prabhupada dealt with his devotees, because the Lilamrita is very good for chronology and history, but it doesn't have that much about how he dealt with his children and how we have to learn, because so many people feel they love Krishna consciousness, they love the philosophy, it's the highest philosophy, it's the most complete philosophy, and the prasadam, they love all these things, but we have a problem that many people leave because of the way they're dealt with. And this is all over the world, it's not just in Europe, it's everywhere, and I really think it's because we're raised in a barbarian cultures that have no idea how to actually love, how to deal with others with love, and how to emulate, at least learn from how Prabhupada dealt with others. And most of the devotees who were around Srila Prabhupada are not even around anymore. Or if they are, they're not at temples. They're, most of them, many of them have left this world, and they're more leaving all the time. And I would say within 10 years, there won't be any Srila Prabhupada disciples anymore. And I think it's very important right now for devotees to take advantage of there are quite a few books written. There's Mukunda, who wrote a nice memoir book, Jamuna. There's Shamsundar's books are fabulous, in my opinion. I love them the most, but then I like the adventure spirit. Shamsundar they were kind of like pirates or something. They had nice. Shamsundar and I did a video in Los Angeles some years ago. It's actually recorded on my website. We're talking about his memories, and the focus of it was the mystical qualities of Srila Prabhupada. Is that rain?
No, it's a speaker.
From the speaker.
Crackly?
Yeah, cheap stuff.
Oh, okay.
Now it's okay.
Oh, good. That's great, because these hearing aids amplify everything. But I can't hear without them. Anyway, so that is, on my website, there is a nice, where Shamsundar talks about how Srila Prabhupada told him to ask George for the money for the printing of the book, the Krishna book. And Shamsundar was like, I don't know, you start asking him for money, he's going to be turned off, everybody's all, because they were very famous, the Beatles, he's going to be really, it's going to be, I don't know if I can do that. You just do. You just ask him. You tell him. You do it. So finally, Shamsundar talks about this. He does a much better job of talking about this than I do. That he's out to dinner with at somebody's house with George Harrison, and dinner's over, and he's thinking, I got to do this. And finally, he gets up the courage to say, Srila Prabhupada wants to print this Krishna book, but he needs money to do it. And he said, Shamsundar said he immediately got very dark. George got dark, very like, oh no, these guys are just like the rest of them attitude. And then all of a sudden there was a giant crack, electric lightning, and all the lights went out for a few minutes. And then they came back on, and George said, how much does he need? And, he told him. Then Sham tells about how he's comes home, it's late, he's hoping Prabhupada's taking rest, it's late, and he drives back to Burri Street, the light's still on, and he tiptoes past his door, Shamsundar, in other words, he's busted. So he goes in, and Prabhupada's sitting there with a big smile on his face, and he says, I told you he would do it. So, these are some of the incredible mystical qualities of Srila Prabhupada. There are many, so many. I remember we had a very neighbor who was bad people, and they would do things like, at our temple, they would do things like turn up this horrible music during our Sunday feast lectures and stuff like that. And we had big tulsi plants then, about 7 feet tall tulsi plants. In Hawaii you could do that because the soil is volcanic, so it's very rich. And so anyway, Gorsindar and the Brahmacharis went to the North Shore for there was another temple there, it was a country place, and they were gone. They left in a big truck, all of them. And so it was just me and a few girls were there for a day or so. And they came over in the middle of the night and they cut down all the tulsi plants. And the next morning they were like bushy, this big around at the top, and this big around on the stalk. And they come in the middle of the night and cut them, and they were all lying on the ground, And naturally we were very upset, and we did what we could to try to rescue some of them because some of the lower leaves were there, and constructed tents over them and stuff. And I didn't want to write Prabhupada about it. I thought, I'm not going to bother. He's in India. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to tell him. But and generally the way it worked was that he would send me a letter, or I would write him and ask him something about something, and he would write me back. And then there would be some long silence, and then I would write him, and then he'd write me back. And this went on for years. Actually have a lot of letters, some of my letters to him as well as my letters from him, that my editor wants to put together in a book. So he didn't owe me a letter, but out of the blue, I got a letter from India a couple of weeks later. Something like, Dear Govinda Dasi, I'm thinking of you always, and I'm wondering, how are your tulsi plants growing? Like, oh boy, he knew what happened. So naturally, I had to write it and tell him. I had to tell him, what had happened. And then he wrote back and said, such men should be beaten with shoes. And of course, we can't do that. But, he wrote a consoling letter. So there are many, many mystical qualities, which I think you asked about earlier, didn't you? You asked about that time in, was that you that asked about that?
That time about in Hawaii?
Yeah, about that time in Hawaii. That was truly one of the most extraordinary experiences because I actually went into my mind and heart and rewired me, and I needed it. And I really feel like that he does that still. I think we still experience that now, that he comes into our mind and heart. I'm going to move this because I'm getting tired of looking at it. I want to see you, not that. Anyway, so there were many such instances. He knew what was going on. I mean, simple little things like, I can remember one time he kept asking about a check that was supposed to come in the mail. Some check, something that was sent to the bank or something like that. And there was no way anybody could possibly know that check was lost in the mail. But he knew that, because Krishna is telling him. See, that's what people are missing. They've got to understand that he was in constant contact with the Supreme Lord in his heart, and continues to be. And because of that, he's also can be in touch with us as well. He explained that to me once, that the spiritual master is in touch with Krishna, and whatever Krishna wants him to know, he can tell him. And if we're in touch with him in our heart. And he said very clearly many times that I'm present in my books, I'm present in my pictures, and I'm present in my murti. So I want the younger people, or the people who didn't have association with Prabhupada, to understand that he's available to you. And if you understand that, you will be able to weather the storms that come in life. And if you don't understand that, what usually happens is you get discouraged, you feel cut off, and many people leave. Many people lose faith. And this is because I feel this hasn't been taught enough. It hasn't really been emphasized. And I mean, I'm not trying to say, there's a whole lot. It's a vast philosophy, and you can go into different things that are important, and they're all important, but I feel like that what you were saying earlier, that it's important to connect with Srila Prabhupada as a person, who he is. And that's what I think the memoir books do. They at least give you, you're going to have your Bhagavad Gita, you're going to have your Srimad Bhagavatam. You definitely have those alongside. These are our, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, these are our main course. But we need to also have understanding and connection with Srila Prabhupada. If we do, there's a better chance that we'll be able to understand the higher level philosophy, and we'll also be able to weather the storms and understand how to treat one another so that we don't drive people away. That's my humble opinion. Any questions?
I have a question.
Louder.
How can we please Srila Prabhupada?
How can we please Srila Prabhupada? That's a vast topic.
Srila Prabhupada. To je jako široka tema.
By becoming Krishna conscious and by helping others become Krishna conscious. By helping others. We are here in the Kali Yuga and we're being given a gift. This is the greatest gift. Other yugas are much more difficult. The downside is really down. There's wars, there's pestilence, there's demons are everywhere, all that kind of stuff. But we are given this opportunity by Lord Chaitanya's grace because he wants to flood the whole world with Krishna Prem. And it has begun. And it will get better. It's just that we have a little transition time to go through. But it will be, this is a special age. I'm sure you've heard that Prabhupada used to say that the demigods are lining up to take birth in this movement. Everyone's heard that, right? So that means it's a real good deal. It's a better deal than being on a heavenly planet, because in one lifetime of only 100 years, you can accomplish where it may take you thousands of years to get liberation on the heavenly planet. And also, you may not even get Krishna Bhakti, whereas here, Lord Chaitanya has given Krishna Bhakti freely. So how to please Srila Prabhupada is to take up this movement and do what you can. Not everybody can be a Harinam Sankirtan star. Not everybody can cook for the deities. Not everybody can do, but we can do something, and that will please them. And for your best chances of remaining a devotee your whole life, I think that it's important to read about him. Just like in the Christians, they have Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John. Those are the New Testament, right? And those are some of the disciples' accounts of the Christ. So similarly, you've got, and they don't claim to be to be Jesus. They don't claim to be perfect. And they're not. There's, so much problems with those apostles, that we're all familiar with if we've had any kind of Christian background. But it's the same kind of situation. We want to know what Prabhupada was like from his disciples. I really think that will help people a lot. That's why we're writing these memoir books. That's why we're trying to leave a legacy. His legacy is, to me, at my age, his legacy is the only thing that matters. Is trying to leave something for the young people, for you guys, and for your children, and for your grandchildren, so that you're able to, this movement will go on. And a lot has been harmed. There's been a lot of misinformation and a lot of unfortunate events that have taken place, which we don't go into, but which most of you know about. But it hasn't stopped. The kirtans are still going on. In spite of those problems, in spite of the disappointments of various young men who didn't live up to people's expectations, Srila Prabhupada is still very present. His books are there, his teachings are there, and I think, for myself, there were no books when I came. The only thing I had was hearing him sing in the morning, hearing him sing the morning prayers, and hearing him give classes. And this is so important. Hearing is very, very important. But who are you going to hear from? You've got to hear from Srila Prabhupada. And the reason for that is because the pure devotee, and we're not talking about devotees of different levels of purity. We're talking about the one who came from the spiritual world to teach all this, the founder Acharya. It says in the Bhagavatam that when the pure devotee speaks, although it sounds like a regular sound vibration, actually it's not. It's the sound of his voice is sprinkled with the saffron dust from the lotus feet of the Lord. So that means that is a special sound. Now, I can tell you for sure that's true because I felt it whenever I would hear him sing. And I still listen to him sing every day. At home, I listen to him sing the prayers. And also, all of us, that's all we had. We had no books. Try to understand. We knew nothing about the philosophy. I had studied a smattering of Buddhism before, so I knew a little bit about samsara. I'd studied a little bit of yoga on my own, but so far as having any philosophical, nothing. We were zero zilch Americans, nothing. And it wasn't, at that time, yoga wasn't even popular yet. So what we had was Srila Prabhupada's voice, the sound vibration. And I was shocked last year because I went to a sadhusanga with a younger devotee. He picked me up about 5 hours away to Dallas. And I asked, he had many kirtan tapes, discs, many. But not one of Srila Prabhupada. Not one lecture and not one tape. And I'm like, wow, I need to talk about this. They don't know there's a difference in kirtans. They don't know that there is a difference. There is a difference. The difference is that we're all disciples. We're all acolytes. We're all beginners. We may be more advanced and we may have a big stick and all that, but we're still not Srila Prabhupada. And therefore, we should hear from him, and then it will penetrate our heart. Where's that verse, Manju? 4:20-25. This is Bhagavatam verse. I'm not making this up. I don't make things up. It's about how important it is. And hearing is the first, most important thing. We know that. And in hearing from the devotees about Srila Prabhupada, I know Siddhanta has done wonderful work. Siddhanta is one of my godbrothers in Los Angeles, and he has done a lot of videos where he goes around the world and records people, devotees. He's gone to a lot of trouble to do this, and even still he hasn't gotten them, all of them. Do you want to read it? I hate touching these things, they hurt my hands. My dear Lord, this is for 2025. You are glorified by the selected verses uttered by great personalities. Such glorification of your lotus feet is just like saffron particles. When the transcendental vibration from the mouths of great devotees carries the aroma of the saffron dust of your lotus feet, the forgetful living entity gradually remembers his eternal relationship with you. Devotees thus gradually come to the right conclusion about the value of life. My dear Lord, I therefore do not need any other benediction but the opportunity to hear from the mouth of your pure devotee. Further down. So, monsters. So one of the things it says here, in Prabhupada's purport, a pure devotee always engages in the service of the Lord, taking shelter of his lotus feet, and therefore he has a direct connection with the saffron mercy particles that are strewn over the lotus feet of the Lord. Although when a pure devotee speaks, the articulation of his voice may resemble the sound of this material sky, the voice is spiritually very powerful because it touches the particles of saffron dust on the lotus feet of the Lord. As soon as a sleeping, living entity hears the powerful voice emanating from the mouth of a pure devotee, he immediately remembers his eternal relationship with the Lord, although up until that moment he had forgotten everything. So you see, he's saying how important it is that we hear from the pure devotee. And we also have, there's a lot of wonderful devotees who live at beautiful kirtans, but we need to balance our diet. That's the point. Hear those kirtans, fine, no problem. Balance it, balance your diet. A lot of people really like the beat. Like in South America, it sort of sounds like calypso or something, and different people like the different musical aspects of kirtan. There's nothing wrong with that, but we need to balance. We need a balanced diet, and the balanced diet means we need to hear from Prabhupada directly. And there's so much available. The Christians were not so fortunate; they didn't have tape recorders, but now we're really lucky that we have so much available. And there's a wonderful series also called Following Srila Prabhupada. It was done by my godbrother Yadubar. It's like 14 discs. It's all available online now, where it's like year by year Prabhupada's travels to different cities, different places. You see him landing in airports, you see, and wonderful kirtans. And that's also really nice. So, any questions?
What's your favorite Srila Prabhupada bhajan? Your favorite?
I love to hear him sing the prayers to the spiritual master. That's my favorite. But his favorite was Hari Hari Bifale. And he would sit and play harmonium and tears would just stream down his face. And it's noteworthy that he really felt like that. That song, essentially it says that I simply wasted my life. I have not worshipped Radha Krishna. I'm a complete failure. I've wasted my life. And he really, really felt that. He was that humble. He felt that. He really felt that bhajan. And he would cry. Tears would come down his eyes. So that kind of humility isn't really, you don't see that. It's very, very beautiful. But that was my favorite. I think there's mosquitoes here. I have some citronella oil, but it's buried in my stuff. They do like me. Yeah, they like me. There you go for my feet. Not as bad as Mexico. What's this? Is this DEET? Is it DEET?
Herbal repellent.
Oh, this is not bad. This is a natural one. That's good.
Suitable for vegetarians and Hare Krishnas.
Simbo Pogan? What's that?
Cinnamon.
From Mayapur.
It's a natural one.
From Mayapur. From Mayapur.
Oh, it's from Mayapur. God knows what's it. Anyway. Anyway, any other questions? We're sitting underneath. This is kind of special, really. We're underneath the rain. You know, it's an unusual program.
How did the Swami became Srila Prabhupada?
Oh, that's a good one. Actually, that's not even described in this book. That's described in the next book, because this book is only how I met him and the first few months. But the next book describes that. But I'll tell you, since you're asking. And what happened was that my husband, by now, we were living with Prabhupada for some months, several months, maybe 5-6 months. We were traveling with him, and we were. He was studying Sanskrit and Bengali because Prabhupada had decided to translate Chaitanya Charitamrita because we really wanted him to. And so Gorsundar was studying Bengali in order to help with the transliteration. And so he was studying these different prefixes and suffixes that are in Sanskrit and Hindi and Bengali. And one day he said, is it okay if I call Govinda Dasi Govindaji? And, Govinda Ji is like it's like a friendship. Give me that stuff. They're going after my head now. I don't know. Probably got DEET in it. Isn't it DEET in it?
He said that it's natural. All natural.
In India, natural.
Yeah.
Natural for you, special price. Very natural. Anyway, we've all been to India, haven't we? So Prabhupada immediately said, I was actually getting massage at the time. Gorsundar was massaging. He gave him massage twice a day. And he said, no, it's a third-class form of address. And so it was kind of late, but he was kind of half asleep, so we didn't want to bother him. So the next day, it was bothering me. Like, third-class form of address. Well, hey, why are we calling him Swamiji? Maybe better find out something better. So I asked him, so you said that it's a third-class form of address, but why are we calling you Swamiji then? It's not very important. He's very humble, not very important. And so I was not satisfied with that answer. I kind of pressed it. I said, but it's important to us. We would like to call you first class. And so he was like, well, it's not so important. So humble. And then finally, because I'm asking him again, he said, Guru Maharaj or Guru Dev or Srila Prabhupada. I said, well, that's 3. Can we pick one? One that you prefer? And then he said, looked at his picture of the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada is nice. So I said, from today, we will be called Srila Prabhupada. And then, he also said, now, I am the Prabhupada. And you're all, the Prabhupada means, Pad means foot, and Prabhu means master. So you're all the masters who have taken shelter of me, of my feet. You're all the Prabhus who've taken shelter. So from now on, you all address one another as Prabhu, because you are the Prabhus that have taken shelter of me. And then he said, so all of you, and he had me called Gorsundar Prabhu, and he called me Govinda Dasi Prabhu, and he also wrote many letters. Prabhupada wrote letters to Himavati Prabhu, Arundhati Prabhu, these were ladies, or Hazaduda Prabhu, or he was trying to, I think, introduce a kind of a respect between us all so that we wouldn't fight, although we didn't have fighting yet. At that time, there was no all these weird attitudes that have developed didn't exist. They just didn't exist at all. There's so much weird social customs that had not manifested at that time. They manifested later on as a result of a couple of different guys, very young men who took sannyas and were very agitated. And he tried to send all the women to Australia. He tried to make all the girls stand, and probably kept blocking him at every. But you couldn't block him completely. So a lot of weird ideas were promoted. And now they have all kinds of strange ideas. But at that time, there weren't any of these things. These things were very simple, very, very simple and very sweet. We worked together like brothers and sisters. He sent couples to each place. He sent a couple to Los Angeles, Nandarani and Dayananda. He sent 3 couples to England. He sent my husband and I, Gorsundar, to Hawaii. So he was trying to make a stable society. Later on, a lot of these things changed, but but that is how he took the name Srila Prabhupada, and he tacked it on to his Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And I think his godbrothers challenged him on this whenever he was in India, but that is what he chose. That is, and I think he also said that it reminded him of his own spiritual master. So that's kind of what happened. That was in May of 1968. That was a long time ago. So, it's natural that things get lost. Things change, things get lost. And people's memories are not perfect either, that's for sure. I mean, I know in Mukunda wrote his book about my father coming from Texas with his Texas accent, and my father never met Prabhupada. However, my stepfather, and he had a Swedish accent because he was from Sweden. So, that's how things are. You can't, but those are details. They really are. They're details. What really matters is the feeling. The love, the feeling that you'll feel in Shamsundar's books, you'll feel that in your Muna's book, you'll feel that in all of those disciples that genuinely love Srila Prabhupada. Now the Lilamrita is very good so far as chronology, so far as it got done, and the good news is about at least 1,000 interviews were done at that time, at least, maybe more, where devotees were, after Prabhupada left, there were a couple of guys, they went around and they interviewed the devotees, find out, about, because memories were fresh at that time. So that was really good. And I did several tapes for them. And I even had a meeting at my house where Harsharani, Shamsundar, Kartikeya, 5 or 6 devotees all came to my house at that time and spent like 3 days recording interviews. And that was really special. But then those tapes, supposedly, they all got burned in a fire at Gitanagari. But I have very good news. They have all surfaced in the last year, anonymously sent to me. So whoever decided to burn them didn't succeed. And those tapes are now being transcribed by some of my friends. One of my very close friends, she does transcription. So those will be available in time from the archives. The archives are doing wonderful work. They really are. Ekanath is Dutch, and Nityatripta, and they're gradually, it takes time to do all this, but they're, these are the things that will be there for your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. Information about Srila Prabhupada. And probably won't be made into books because writing a book is really hard. But at least there will be transcripts available. Any more questions?
What were your stepfather impressions of Srila Prabhupada?
I did write about that
Yeah.
in the book. In fact, I even had his picture in there.
Okay. Can you show us?
Stepfather's visit. It was very fortunate that he got to come and meet Srila Prabhupada. He was a very nice man. I didn't know him very well. Let's see, stepfather's visit. I would say about here. It is 2:20.
Yeah.
So, in early May, Govindasi's stepfather, Gustav, comes to visit. He is a distinguished-looking man in his late 50s. Born and raised in Sweden, he has been on boats most of his life. He's now the chief engineer on a Texaco oil tanker, and his ship has stopped briefly in New York. So he takes this opportunity to come to the Lower East Side to visit his stepdaughter. Govindasi's mother has been put into great anxiety by her sudden disappearance from the university. We left the college. She didn't know her daughter's whereabouts for a couple of months. So she's now in touch. Even though she does not fully comprehend the reason behind the sudden urgency that caused her and Gorsinder to unexpectedly leave everything, the couple could not possibly know that Swamiji was coming to San Francisco. They didn't know anyone there, and they had never heard of Krishna. It remains a mystery to her parents, but they love her anyway, unconditionally. Gustav comes to the small temple storefront, matchless gifts. Early in the day, Govindadasi invites him to lunch, and they sit on the floor together and share chapatis and dal. She's developed a great liking for the spicy split pea soup and Indian flatbreads that Swamiji has taught them to make. And she eats heartily. At least her stepfather can report to her mother that she's eating well. Her folks are very concerned about her welfare. She was well maintained at college by both mother and daddy. She had a nice car, nice apartment, nice clothes, and plenty of spending money. Yet she walked away from it all, which is hard for them to understand. And now this is too much for them to swallow. Veil, Bunny? Gus asked in his thick Swedish accent. What are you going to do? Are you going to go back to school? You know your mother is very worried about you. Govindadasi is apologetic. She regrets causing her mother anxiety, but she has no desire to leave Swamiji. As far as she's concerned, she's found what she's been searching for all her life. She tries to explain this, but it's hard for him to understand. She takes her stepbrother upstairs to meet the Swami. Gustav is polite and respectful, and Swamiji is as charming as ever. Her stepbrother sees the artwork she's doing as she shows him around. He's a bit shocked by the whole experience, but is nevertheless gentlemanly. He's glad to report to her mother that Bonnie is happy and well fed. It allays her mother's fears, at least to some extent. These ants are determined. Later, he writes a letter to Govinda Dasi's mother. I later found this letter. Yeah, my mother kept it with her. I went to visit Bonnie on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. It took me over 2 hours to get there. It is not a nice part of New York City. Rather crowded, neither is it very safe. The Bowery with all the drunken bums is just nearby. Bonnie seems happy with Garrett and has adopted Indian customs like sitting on the floor and eating without utensils, but she looks healthy, well-fed, and seems to enjoy her lifestyle. And she was very sweet to me. Their temple, as they call it, is a small storefront on 2nd Avenue in a very bad part of town. It is very dark and dirty. It's more like a hole in the wall. I met their Swami. He seemed to be a gentle, caring person, and these youngsters all look up to him like a father. I think you should not worry so much. On the whole, I think this is good for Bonnie. She seems peaceful and happy, and I think it is making her less selfish. So that's what he thought. That's what he thought. And they were always supportive of me. I have to say, my mother actually shook Prabhupada's hand later. That would have been after he went to India and he came back. Then they came to visit me in San Francisco, and Prabhupada was putting on his shoes, and as he was putting on his shoes, she came. But she thought, in Christian churches in America, the pastor stands at the door after the sermon, and the ladies walk out. Oh, Miss Jones, that's a lovely hat you're wearing. Oh, that was a wonderful sermon. That's the way, that's the exchange. So my mother, being a Christian, thought that's what was happening, because he's putting on his shoes. So she went and started shaking his hand and telling him it was a nice sermon, which of course I was turning purple and green. But he had a beautiful smile on his face. He was very gracious, very loving. He emanated love. Everyone felt it. Everyone felt it. Even I know Srutakirti was talking about how one airline stewardess on an airplane was just so attracted to Srila Prabhupada. His love energy just flowed out to everyone. And on every level. Any more questions?
How did you find out that you are part of Bhagavatam purport?
Accidentally.
Was book already published?
Yeah. I was reading. I didn't know. I didn't have that much contact. After Prabhupada left, things got very weird for a while, and so most of us, 90% of Prabhupada's disciples, either left or were pushed out. I just stepped back and watched it. I knew it was just a matter of time before it would change. But I was reading his books, and I was working on. I did children's books, coloring books for the children. It's my own project. And I did 5 coloring books. So I was absorbed in my own little world service. And one day I was reading the Bhagavatam, I was completely shocked. I said, why did you do this? This is weird. Why did you do this? And of course, now I have a better understanding of why he did it. I understand why he did it, because somebody was going to have to speak about the editing, and I guess he knew that I wouldn't back down. So that's the only thing I can think of, because I'm not any great devotee. I'm a pretty ordinary devotee. You're probably all much better devotees than me. I'm sure you are. You've probably done more service, probably, but, I guess Krishna had his plan. So I found out about it actually. I was reading. And he was very pleased about the Tulsi. But I didn't really understand that. That's the thing. I didn't really understand that Tulsi was essential for deity worship and that he wanted to introduce deity worship. That was not a conscious understanding at all. I just was attracted to tulsi, and I wanted to grow one because I wanted some beads. Because I had these horrible beads, these big red things that you could knock somebody out with them. Horrible beads. And I wanted tulsi beads, and I was fascinated by we didn't know. See, it's hard to understand because now we have such an interchange with India that we didn't have at that time. We didn't know what a tulsi plant looked like. I mean, we didn't know if it was red, green, or pink. We knew nothing. And we didn't know anything really about tulsi, and I was curious. And there was very little communication with India at that time. And of course, later on, devotees went to India, but that wasn't until 1970. And this was 1968 that tulsi took place. So it was really what you might say, Krishna in the heart, dictating. Where did Manjari go?
She's watching your back.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, watching my back? What does that mean? Oh, mosquitoes?
I'm just behind you.
Oh, okay. So any more questions? I mean, you guys must be hungry, huh?
And it's also 7:30. We can call it for today.
Okay, that sounds good. Those recorders are kind of winking at me.
Yeah. We can start immediately.